So the YouTube algorithm decided to bless me again. I was browsing through and I found a video called Richard Pryor, How Capitalism Promotes Racism. It was uploaded by a channel called Hidden Halo. Yeah, man, it seems cool. I think the Bill Boggs show is what he appeared on or something. I have no idea. There's not a lot of context when and what happened with this at all. But it seems like he was, explaining he had an old show. I should probably do some homework on this right now to kind of give it more context. All right, so I think they're discussing this show, the Richard Pryor Show, which was canceled too soon. Yeah, he's about to go into detail basically about what happened with that. So let's check it out.
What kind of stuff are they giving you the most trouble about in terms of censorship? Nudity or lying?
Like waking up.
Just getting out of bed in the morning?
They just have it in their minds that they want to hire somebody, but they don't want any communication made. They want to like make you into something. I don't know. It's like, I guess it goes into white homes. They're worried about that a lot.
What are they? Yeah, it's funny. Gwen Barrett, our associate producer, or sometime producer, is black. And Carmen Matias is Hispanic.
You have to be colored to be on television.
Yeah, colored.
Yes, you can't be black. You have to have a little colored in there, just a taste.
So I think this is really, this is why I love comedy and people like, shout out Chappelle and Richard Pryor, who really have, smart commentary, if you can read between the lines. What he's basically talking about is code switching. You can't be fully, they won't let you on TV being, unapologetically black. You got to be you got to code switch. You got to be a little colored. Can't be black. You get what I'm saying? Well, yeah, let them keep going.
Tad.
Yeah, just keep it interesting for America.
Yeah. Well, she said, we were talking about your humor, that your humor offends white people. And I'm not that easily offended. Like, I'm not coming from a spot where Richard Pryor is going to offend me. I think you have humor that makes us see a lot of the truth and laugh at things we wouldn't normally laugh at. I think that's part of what you're doing.
I'm sorry, I'm stopping this a couple times, but shout out this white boy. I don't know if this is Bill Boggs. It says BillBoggs.com down there. I haven't gone on the site. I'm paranoid on the internet. But yeah, man. You don't see stuff like this on TV no more, man. There was a time where this wasn't, out of the norm to be talking about racial issues because, of course, it's, embedded in the fabric of America, right? So, yeah.
What do you think that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America?
Probably stop some racism.
Stop racism?
Yeah. I'm probably afraid of that because then people don't hate each other. And people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other, they find out who's the problem.
Which is?
Greedy people.
Greedy people. I have a couple things I want to ask you there. Do you really think that some of the guys that you dealt with at NBC, no names, right? Because there's lawsuits for that too, that some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism. Right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but shit, they say I'm white. I'm going to use this.
Right. Absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry, But, and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but...
Now, all right. You and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
You can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you're like the people that are in power. To me, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, people that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe...
They go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool, it just gets on you and it starts eating.
The system levels them.
Pretty soon it's all gone.
Is that what a cesspool sounds like?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
Pause again. I don't know what's going on with you. Look at Richard. He's like,
he's a good guy.
Okay. I feel him on that. But yeah, man, shout out to this white boy again, though, man. He's a real one for this, man. And of course, man, you know, the always great legend Richard Pryor, man, spoke on some real stuff right now, and this actually dovetails really well with the video I did discussing Kevin Samuel's High Value Man. You should check that video out. I'll leave a link somewhere in this, you know, whether in the description, whatever, depends on what you're watching it on, right? But yeah, man. So I getting into it, man. If you notice, you know, what I'm saying he's speaking on specifically, you know, capitalism promoting racism, right? You know, what I'm saying, and he's not wrong at all, man. Where I disagree heavily, where they came, well, not I don't disagree with anything Richard said, but Mr. Pryor, I don't know how do you address the man, you know, the late great, right? But the host, though, he said, how do you get people in positions of power to make change? See, that is where we make a mistake every time. And you know, I'm trying to, you know, find different ways to show that that's the problem. Is we have to dilute the power. You dilute power by giving yourself power, by giving me power, by cooperatives, you know what I mean? Like the issue is, you know, we have these mini dictatorships all around the country, these, you know, saying, which is just jobs, right? You have somebody, an owner who hires people and pays them whatever he feels like, you know what I'm saying? They have no decision making process on 90% of things, you know what I'm saying? And they get to pocket all the profits from these people's labor, our labor, your labor, my labor, right? And then they get to, you know, funnel that money to our politicians to get themselves more tax breaks, and just the cycle continues. You get what I'm saying? And like he was saying, there's, you know, he was, old buddy was saying, how do we get people in positions of power to change it? He said, you can't do that because, like I say, it's the system. What they're missing is, you know, they're 100% right. Just like with you have to defund the police, it's the system, which is why I'm not so gung-ho about, you know, elected politics anymore. I've, you know, come to the realization that it is wholeheartedly that corrupt. I don't believe the Democrats or Republicans, none of them are fighting for you. If they make it to elected politics, it's not any different than, you know, cops that make it to be cops. You know what I'm saying? You know, the good ones get pushed out, period. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know, there's countless stories, you know what I mean, by people like the Real News Network that does real great reporting on police, you know what I'm saying? And I'll probably report on some of those things too, but you know, all these things, you know, accumulate and show that, you know, there is no, that's why we scream defund the police, because we understand there's no reforming that system, right? It's the same thing in elected politics right now, you know what I'm saying? And we have to go to where the cause is, the money, all right? But we get realistic about where the money is. It's in ownership of businesses, of equity. And I'm not saying, hey, let's take over Amazon. Let's give that, you know, like, man, he could, you know, Jeff Bezos can stay in his ivory tower over there. Let's build our own Amazon, right? Collectively, where, you know, saying everybody is owners and has a vote and say so on what happened with the profits, whatever it is, right? You know, say whatever that thing may be, you know what I mean? That's where the problem comes in, right? How do you stop racism? By taking away a racist power, right? As a black man from Texas, I've used this, you're going to hear this a lot if you watch my channel, but, you know, I think it's powerful. For me, when I was managing a restaurant, you know, I had a dishwasher that was racist, outwardly, obviously, really country racist dude, you know what I'm saying? He had no power over me as I was the manager. I wasn't GM. I was, you know, I was an assistant manager, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could fire him at any point. I told him to wash dishes. Since he had no power over me, his racism didn't affect me. Does that make sense? Other than, you know, words, but he wasn't going to say that because he know he'd get fired. You know what I'm saying? There's checks and balances there, right? You know, that's where the power dynamic comes in, right? So where it gets tricky, well, not even just tricky, where the problem is what if those roles were reversed? What if he was my manager and I was a dishwasher? Then I'd never be able to move up. You get what I'm saying? Like, no matter, you know, just because of my skin color, I'd be always kept down. Or even, for example, if the owner is a racist, then I'm relegated to working the night shift at $13 an hour. You know what I mean? Like, just stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know, it's about power and diluting power. If that establishment was a cooperative, right? If restaurants are cooperative, then in a cooperative, everybody gets, you know, saying a vote, democratic vote, and, you know, decisions that of the company, whether it be the profit, whether it be multiple different things. Let me switch this camera angle for y'all. Whether it be the profit, whether it be multiple different things, right? You know, and with that power over your own life decisions to make, you know, saying that's how you change. That's how real change is made, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it takes fighting, right? The only reason we have weekends is because people fought for that. You know what I'm saying? Back then, people had to die for it, right? Hopefully, you know, the information age and all this, hopefully we're civilized enough people don't have to die to get those kind of changes, right? But at the end of the day, you're not going to get it unless you fight. There were, kids were working in mines. It was regular for you to get a job at like 4 or 5 or something. I don't, I'm saying, something crazy, you know what I mean? Because your little body can fit in the machines. They, scoot you in there and get you cleaning and cooking and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But it wasn't until people stood up and fought together was like, no, this is ridiculous. No, kids need to be kids, right? You know what I'm saying? And I need a goddamn off day, you know what I'm saying? And so we asked for those things, not as demanded and fought for those things, you know what I'm saying? And dang near, ripped the country apart behind it, then those things came, right? You know what I mean? And that's what it takes to get real change. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been studies to prove that a 4-day work week in different countries, they've there's been countless studies to prove 4-day work week makes us more productive and does not negatively affect productivity and makes people happier. We're at a stage where saying a lot of stuff's being automated anyway. There's no excuse for it not to happen. There's no excuse for your pay to be reduced because of it. Saying the only thing right now that matters to people is profit, and they only think about hard work when it comes to you. When they're chilling in their ivory towers, their money's making money for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to work for a dime. Some people have been born into this money. You know what I'm saying? They expect you have to get out there and work. You better get out to work. You better not be lazy and all this BS. And it's like, yo, look, you know what I'm saying? What I believe is you marry the worker and owner class. That's what we have to do. That's the answer. Marrying those classes. And yeah, man, I think Richard just, he had a real powerful message in that, man. And, like he's saying, I guess I didn't get into the networking but what he's speaking on also is the gatekeepers, right? You know what I'm saying? When Richard goes into, I'll bring it back one time.
Some of the guys that you dealt with in NBC, no names, right? Because there's lawsuits for that too. That some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism, right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but shit, they say I'm white. I'm going to use this.
Right. Absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry, But, and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but.
Yeah, so again, like if you watch I'll leave a link to the video where my rebuttal with Kevin Samuels, High Value Man, and he has 6 points in that video. He made 6 things that make you a high value man, right? I don't want to go through all of them and none of that right now, but parts 3 and 4 were group acceptance and network, right? And group acceptance, he was just saying you got to have acceptance from the group. And by the group, he means other high value men, right? And he even started talking about secret societies and things of that nature. And literally, like I said, that's the problem. That's, the separation. You heard what Richard just said, right? Saying the problem is separation. Saying it's like, and the issue with that separation is the idea of, oh, I'm better than you because I have X, Y, and Z, and you're not as good as me because X, Y, and Z. So you deserve to be down there while I deserve to be up here. You get what I'm saying? That's the kind of issue. That's the kind of, separation that's negative, right? There is, I think there is a healthy conversation to had about, saying certain types of separation, whether it be cultural or like, like it's okay. We can all be independent together, if that makes sense. So we can all, we can all be different together. That's a, different conversation, takes a lot more intentionality, but that's why we have frontal, cortex. This is why your frontal lobe's there, right? That's what, like we can do this, y'all, it just takes being intentional. People think that a lot of these, a lot of the societal norms we have right now are just, always been that way. So not true. Another perfect example is, how, the color pink used to be for boys and the color blue used to be for girls because pink is a lot closer to red. And that, it just used to be like that. Matter of fact, I'll look, I don't want you to take my word for it, right? Let me look it up. So here's an example. Here's why it all changed. Pink used to be a boy's color and blue for girls, right? And this is just history. This is, it's facts, like, the point I'm trying to make is things change, and we consciously, people make conscious decisions. This right here was done, get into specifically, because if I'm not mistaken, this is, a lot of the changes that have been made to society is mostly marketing, you know what I mean? Whether it be for diamonds, color variants in children, all this was, started as marketing. The fact that media had begun promoting the notion of one color or another being associated with one gender or another was likely the brainchild of marketing strategists, says, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this guy's name. I apologize, my brother. Essentially, clothing manufacturers and retailers had realized that they could double the amount of clothing sold. So literally, like marketing, like it's by subtle manipulation of, like propagandizing you, manipulation of your mind, right? That's literally what a lot of our culture, this consumerist capitalist culture that we, saying that we hold so dear is, you know what I mean? And there's not a lot of substance in it, you know what I mean? And people willing to, die behind, like, just like this is the way it's always been, always going to be. And it's just not true. You know what I mean? So many things have changed over the years, and not for the better, right? Most of it for the worse, especially if it's all profit driven. Our culture, our society is based on profit. And that's one of the biggest issues, right? Because, you ain't got none. You and me, we ain't got none. And the way the system's set up is, it's no different than playing the lottery, getting out of poverty, right? You have just as good a chance, pretty much. Why people do the lottery, right? You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I think people understand this subconsciously too, but I'm running this way too long, and appreciate y'all looking at that, giving it the time. I took it off the deep end for a second, off Richard Pryor, but yeah, man, how capitalism promotes racism, and it's through the group acceptance, right? Gatekeepers, right? The go along, get along gang, right? Shout out to Kwame Brown, right? But that really is what it is. That's exactly what it is, bro. So that's it, man. I'm gonna head out. Yo, you like what you just saw? Make sure you like, share, subscribe so the algorithms can algorithm or whatever sorcery they do. Follow us on our socials, links all down in the description, and let's keep rocking.